Welcome back. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is set to meet with President Biden and members of Congress on Thursday.
That's right. This high-stakes trip comes as Ukraine continues its third month of a counteroffensive against Russia. Ahead of the visit, Zelenskyy spoke with CBS's Scott Pelley Sunday on 60 Minutes. In an expansive interview, he warned that Russian President Vladimir Putin will continue using the threat of nuclear war to stoke global imbalance.
I think he's going to continue threatening. He's waiting for the United States to become less stable. He thinks that's going to happen during the U.S. election. He'll be looking for instability in Europe and the United States of America. He will use the risk of using nuclear weapons to fuel that instability. He will keep on threatening.
And for more, we're joined this hour by CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab. Thanks for being here, Imtiaz. I want to start with asking you about this constant lobbying for aid, right? We've heard this over and over again. The war has progressed now for some time. What are we expecting to hear from Zelenskyy at the UN in Capitol Hill this week?
Chanel, Errol, good to be with you. I think what we're going to be hearing from the Ukrainian president is keep helping us. Keep helping Ukraine. We are now in the 18th months of this war. As you guys know, it has been a grinding war. It has been a tough war, but it has been an incredible war, at least from the Ukrainian perspective, where you have this sort of dated standing up to Goliath and achieving extraordinary things. But we are also in the third month of this counteroffensive, which in Zelenskyy's own words to Scott Pelley in that 60 Minutes interview, he conceded that it's going very slowly. And he wants to go to Congress to say, I know things are tough. I know you've given us a lot of money, but we can win this fight. We need your support. That very same message is the message he's going to take to the UN General Assembly in New York, where he's going to appeal not only to NATO-aligned countries like Canada, the UK, France, Germany, who have supported Ukraine a lot as well, but to other countries, countries in the Middle East, countries in Africa, which have not provided the kind of support that he needs and have perhaps even been silent on some level when it comes to Russia's invasion here in Ukraine. So, as you pointed out in your introduction, a high-stakes trip. Well, the stakes are just getting higher for Mr. Zelenskyy. Guys.
And Imtiaz, President Zelenskyy is going to have to convince some, especially Republicans in Congress, who are calling for a complete end to the U.S. supporting the country, while President Biden's pushing for more than $13 billion in additional military aid. How does Zelenskyy plan to win over Republicans who are calling for an end to the purse strings altogether?
Yeah, I mean, you're so right. Volodymyr Zelenskyy is very acutely aware of the politics in the U.S. As we've seen over the last 18 months, he's an incredibly savvy politician, an incredibly astute tactician, getting the world's support to back his country when it was believed that Ukraine could not stand up to Russia. And yet here we are, and they're putting up such an extraordinary fight. But here's the thing. When you consider the political temperature in the U.S., the gulf, the bipartisan gulf, or sort of the gulf between both sides, as we know, is very deep and very wide. I think the way Volodymyr Zelenskyy is going to try to navigate this is say, look what we've achieved so far. And not only that, if Ukraine falls into the hands of Russia, this isn't just the end of his country as he knows it. It's potentially going to destabilize the world. He warns that Poland, other countries in the Baltic could see a Russian threat like this. And what would the U.S., what would Western countries do if that were to happen? These are NATO countries. These are countries in the EU. Ukraine is not. But what if that was to happen there? And so he's really going to be going there with a warning as well as an appeal for help. Guys.
We are all connected. Imtiaz Tyab with that update. Thank you very much.
Thanks.